what's up, Closer Nation? We're back with another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. And we're going to talk to you today about how to scale your business. And to go from like being a salesperson to scaling a sales organization. Doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, just a lowly salesperson, or an entrepreneur, this is going to work for you, so you're going to want to pay close attention. But before we get there, if you've ever thought about being mentored by somebody, like what if a multimillionaire could mentor you, or what if somebody that they wrote about in Forbes could mentor you, or maybe someone that they talked about as one of the best Facebook marketers on the planet can mentor you, that was mentioned in Huffington Post. Maybe someone who's a best-selling author, or maybe someone who's helped dozens of people achieve multiple six-figure and seven-figure incomes annually. What if you could get somebody like that's help for less than $10 a day? What if they came with a whole team full of people that would support you in realizing, planning out, and attaining all the goals that you have for not just financial success, but in life in general? Well, listen, I am that person. All those things that I just mentioned, I've done them all, and then many more. We could sit here for a long time talking about that. And I'd like to help you. I want you in my network. I'm inviting you to join the Entourage. We'll teach you how to market yourself on Facebook, how to run your business, how to scale it. You'll learn things like we're about to talk about in Whiteboard Wednesday today. And not only just the 50,000-foot view either, the technical details that you can delegate to someone else to do this stuff for you. We've got it all down to a science. So go over to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. You can read all the benefits. You can sign up. You can join our network. And here's what I know is like most of the people that join this program end up getting their money back almost instantly just from the referrals that are traded from the amount of members that are back there. And it's kind of like it's like you ever watch Cheers when people walk in, when Norm walked in, everybody's like, Norm, right? It's kind of like that. When you come to Break Free Academy Entourage and you join our group and our clique, it's like everybody welcomes you back. It's like they're all excited that you're there. So go to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Let's talk about scaling your business or your sales team. See, when I was a loan officer, it was just me. And I did about 25 to 30 loans every month. And I focused on just working my ass off. I never understood that I could build a team. That was never in my wheelhouse. It never even, nobody mentioned it to me. It's not something that I fathomed. I just did the work myself. And when I became an internet marketer or coach or whatever in the world you want to call this thing that I do right now, I did a lot of it by myself. When I first started out, it was me and Lindsay the librarian, as we refer to her so regularly now. Lindsay the librarian and I did all the sales, I did all the delivery, I did all the Facebook ads, all the marketing, all the blogs, all the videos. I didn't have Alex the cameraman, I didn't have Pat the VP, I didn't have any of those things. It was all just me doing everything, and I got into that perpetual stuck cycle to where I couldn't get out, right? Like I would get up and I'd build my business to $30,000, $50,000 a month, and then I'd just get stuck. And I could never break that 30 to 50 threshold. And what's worse is I would have a $50,000 month, then I'd go back the next month and have a $10,000 month. That ever happened to you? Maybe it's a $10,000 month, and then the next month you have a $2,000 month, right? We go through these cycles trying to keep up with everything, and I couldn't scale that model. Well, in 2014, when my divorce was final, they had to evaluate my business, and my lawyer came to me and he said, I got good news, Mr. Stuman. He said, the good news is your business is worthless. If you were to get run over, if you were to get hit by a car, fall off your motorcycle, have a fishing accident, right, whatever the case, hunt with Dick Cheney, whatever the case may be, and something happened to you, then people are no longer going to pay you for your services because you're not going to be alive to provide them services. So the business is based on your worth, and you're worthless because you're not a business. And I'm like, hey man, but Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman, right? But that's not true. Then in the eyes of the court, my business is worthless, which was cool. I didn't have to divide up equity and everything else. But the truth is, it really struck me deep inside. I was like, well, you know, how am I going to have to face the fact that my business is useless? And my lawyer said, hey, well, I recommend you talking to somebody that can teach you how to scale your business, that can teach you how to grow this thing to where you're building an organization that doesn't just rely on you to create it, write it, sell it, close it, deliver it, and everything else. And so I met with my CPA, who is a guy who happened to be my neighbor when I lived in the penthouse. We shared the floor. There's half penthouse, half his penthouse, half mine. And we shared the floor, and I met with him, and he'd scaled and sold several businesses that were 9- and 10-figure businesses. He does the tax advising for some of the richest people in the state of Texas, and I just happened to be his neighbor. And so we became friends, and he started teaching me how to scale my business. He's been my CPA for a little over 3 years now. And he's taught me how to scale this business and to see it as a business and not just the Ryan Stewman Show. And the fact that you're watching this video and the fact that thousands of other people are going to watch it and that this blog post is going to be shared thousands of times is a direct result of me scaling this stuff. And so I want to share it with you. You don't have to be just the sales guy. You can still do sales. I'm passionate about sales, obviously, but you can still do sales. You can still do what you're supposed to be, but you don't have to be just the sales guy. What you can do is you can scale accordingly. So let's talk about the first thing you need to do. The first thing you need to do if you're going to scale your business, you're going to learn how to create ads and funnels. Because here's the thing, you can't keep pounding the phones. You can't do all the cold calling. You can't do all the marketing yourself. You can't just like do all the networking. You're eventually going to get exhausted. You're going to get old. You're going to get out of shape. You're going to have kids. There's going to be other things that come in the way. It's not going to work for you forever, right? If you're a master cold caller and you lose your voice, what are you going to do for the next 3 days? You need to learn how to advertise. Because here's what an ad is. An ad is a digital, or maybe if it's in paper, but it's a digital salesperson pitching people your product 24/7, working for you on autopilot. Its throat don't get sore. It doesn't get the flu. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't miss a day of work. It doesn't bitch about how much you pay it. It doesn't do any of that stuff. It just does its job pitching as many people as you'll possibly pay for it to pitch. And so if you're going to have a steady flow of leads coming in so that you can make sales, the first thing you're going to have to do is quit relying on your own talent. You're going to have to learn how to advertise. Whether you outsource ads, like you get somebody who's a master at pay-per-click or knows how to do Facebook ads, or whether you join Break Free Academy Entourage and learn how to do that stuff yourself, you're eventually going to have to know that the biggest companies out there that do the most business have advertising. That's how they make money. That's how they get in front of strangers to get their business. You're going to have to do the same. But once you get an advertisement that's running and does well, you're not going to be able to keep up with all the leads yourself. That's when a team comes into play. Okay, you're going to have to learn the art of delegation. A lot of salespeople hate delegating stuff because we like to be in control of things. Some might call us control freaks. More of like, you know what, I want to make sure that if I'm on a commission-only structure, my thought process is if I got to go make sure that things happen so that I make sure I have money to pay for my bills because I'm not on a salary, usually like the people that are on the team that are working with me. And so what you've got to understand is you've got to delegate the things that you're not good at. First off, the things that you suck at, stop trying to do them. If you're not good at advertising, delegate that stuff. If you're not good at cold calling, delegate that stuff. If you don't like networking, delegate that stuff. If you don't like the details and the paperwork and you don't like the signing people up process or whatever it is, start delegating that stuff. Here's the great thing about hiring somebody. If you tell them that you're going to pay them every 2 weeks and you hire them today, then guess what? You don't have to pay them for 2 weeks. So you get 2 weeks worth of work out of them and they've earned their keep before you even have to drop a paycheck on them. So when you get good at delegation, what happens is they do the things that you don't want to do, which is important because if you're going to build a team and you're going to be the star of the team, then you've got to be the person that's in the irreplaceable spot. But most oftentimes, we think we're irreplaceable and we're not. You're probably not as good as paperwork as you think you are. You're probably not as good at marketing as you think you are. You're probably not as good as follow-up as you think you are. And that's when you get other people who, instead of knowing everything like you do, they know very specific things that they're supposed to do on a very strategic, on a daily basis that they do very strategically, and they have a system that they follow. It's like me, I understand how to quarterback everything that goes on in my organization, but my man Pat, he builds funnels every single day for us. My man Alex, he shoots videos all the time for us. That's what they do. That's what they're best at, and they're laser focused on that while I quarterback this whole organization. Listen, here's what you need to do. You need to make a list of things that you do on a daily basis so that you can delegate it out, because listen, you can't do this stuff alone, and if you're going to scale a business, you can't scale one person. That's not to scale. One-to-one is not a scale. One-to-many is. So learn how to delegate. It's super important. The next thing is you're going to have to learn how to deliver your stuff, because if you're the person that has to deliver the product, so like if you have to actually physically deliver something, or you have to be on the phone with people, or whatever the case it is, you're going to have to learn how to leverage digital assets to be able to do that as well. So instead of going and handing somebody a book, you're going to have to leverage a website that can send the book out, like Amazon. You can have Amazon deliver the books for you. Instead of me printing the books and me going and hand delivering the books, we just have the books rerouted through an Amazon ordering service for one of our products. So you're going to have to learn a good mixture. If you're delivering everything physically right now, this is the fulcrum, the lever, the seesaw, right? If you're delivering all physical stuff right now, you need to be heavy on digital. For example, when you buy Break Free Academy Entourage, You get access to a digital program. I don't show up in your living room and start training you one-on-one. That's not how the program works. I would never be able to scale myself or grow this business if that was the case. And here's what happens. You've got to have a system that automatically generates referrals as well, right? So you got digital delivery, and then you've got emails, follow-up, ads, mailers, whatever it is that's generating referrals as well, so that these referrals come all the way back to the very beginning. Because listen, you've got to have a system that keeps happy. If you're making customers happy, you've got to have a system that gets happy customers happily sending people your way, right? So that it's the continued cycle of contentness. So here's the thing, right? You need to have a good ad that works. You need to have a team that delegated in place. You need to let digital delivery take the place of physical. So if you keep having to say the same thing over and over and over again, get a recording and have that digitally delivered to where they can learn from that recording instead of you having to physically spend your time every day. And then also have a system, whether it be email follow-ups, mailers, or whatever the case, that generates referrals as well. That's how you scale an entire process. You leverage other people, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money. You don't have to start with 5 team members. You can start with 1 team member. You get your system down. You start with 2 team members. You get your system down. Counting you, that's 3. Then you got 4, and so on and so forth until you grow. We've done that very process here at Break Free Academy and at Hardcore Closer to 18 people now. We've scaled it just like that. We started with 1 person and worked, and I can promise you this, we never hit 7 figures in a year alone. It took an entire team to make that happen, and now we've gone multiple and beyond. So I want you to think about that. Doesn't matter if you sell cars or insurance or whatever, you can scale a team. And these are the steps that you need to take to do that. If you are looking to scale your business, sign up for breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. Thanks for watching, and make sure you share this on social media.